Very soon, my little Caterham Academy car is going to receive a full makeover and become the equivalent of a 270. But before it receives all of its upgrades, I really wanted to share with you what it's like to drive an Academy car on the road. Yes, it only has 125 horsepower. Yes, it only has narrow track suspension, no rear anti-roll bar and no limited slip diff. Plus, you're running on track with essentially road tyres, yet it's a recipe for amazing fun on track. And it's taught me so much about driving, which is the absolute intention of this car. But one of the other wonderful things with a Caterham is on the weekend, I'm on the grid at Brands Hatch, yet during the week or the following weekend, I'm out on the road enjoying it as a sports car along with all my other friends. So how does it drive on the road? Today, we'll take the 125 horsepower out on the road and see just how much fun that small amount of power can be. Woo-hoo-hoo! Woo-hoo! Oh, it's just terrific. The thing is, even though it's only got 125 horsepower, it delivers them brilliantly. The car is so light, it responds instantly. The car sits up and you shoot forward. It's just sensational. Now, I've come from owning a 620, and yes, that's another thing. But believe me, for on the road, do you really need any more? I don't know. I had the 420 and I loved it. I had the 620, which is an exquisite car. But for real enjoyment, working this Mazda 5-speed box is superb. Absolutely sublime. And perhaps is this what a Caterham really should be when you consider the heritage of lightweight? I think there's a lot to be said for that. And that Sigma engine is a naughty little thing. Now, my first Caterham was a Rover K Series, and I adored that engine. I had feared a Rover K Series before I got one with all the horror stories, but not at all. The Rover K was terrific. It was a lightweight engine, and it would rev, and it was naughty. Now, after my K, I had Duratec's fabulous engines. But they were just so compliant, and you got quite lazy with them, so much power and so much torque. But this little Sigma wants you to just grab it by the scruff and give it some, and it talks to you all the time. It's there popping and banging away. It doesn't sound like a 1.6, I promise you that. The Mazda 5-speed box is wonderful. It's a real short throw, like a rifle, into the gears. With the pedals correctly set up, my feet are working across the 3 pedals, little heel and toes on the down change. So this may be controversial, but with a Caterham, it's Marmite, right? You either get it and you love it, or you're really gonna hate it. If you love your driving, then a Caterham is the car for you. I've got no creature comforts here, none whatsoever. The Academy car doesn't even come with a heater. But if you love your driving, and if the soundtrack of that straight line 4-cylinder engine is all you need, then this is driving heaven. It really is. And when you consider, here I am driving through the country roads at 30 miles an hour, and this same car is on the grid at Donington Park with 40 other cars around me racing, is that just not the absolute pinnacle? The thing is, with an Academy car, the ride height is so high, you just breeze over speed bumps. Never had that in my Caterhams before. So honestly, how does it seem coming down through the range from the fire-breathing 310 horsepower supercharged 620 down to the measly 125 horsepower lowest power in the Caterham range car? Well, on the road, really, it's just wonderful. You've got no driver aids, remember, no ABS, no traction control, no stability control. It's just you the steering wheel and 3 pedals. It is the art of driving, and 125 horsepower is more than enough power to still get in trouble. The acceleration in today's standard is nothing that special. 0 to 60 comes up in under 6 seconds. But it's the point-to-point speed of a Caterham that will see you beating those more powerful cars through the lanes. It just points and goes. Oh, and here's something that never gets boring. Oh, what a hooligan. What a hooligan. So much fun, and I'm doing 40 miles an hour. And for the road, the softer sprung suspension, it's no problem at all. The car is still planted, and even in this slightly tricky conditions, the car is just sat there fine. Even on a dual carriageway, with the side screen and the windscreen on, it's a comfortable place to be. And the thing is, people are pleased to see you out in a Caterham. It's still a car with real character, and those that know their cars will appreciate the reason why you are driving that Caterham. What's true to say is, since I've been driving on track and particularly racing, I've got slower on the road. I used to think I was a quick driver. I used to think I was a quick track driver until I learned to drive really well on track, and I'm still learning, of course. But even when you think you're quick on the road, it's nothing compared to the speed you will carry around a corner on a track in a well set up race car. One of the things I really was looking forward to was the Academy tyre, and I was wrong. It's a wonderful tyre. On the road, it's really rather good. On a day like today, the traditional treaded pattern is actually a good choice. On track, it's so clever. The car breaks away from you predictably. And the steering is pin sharp. Every single movement results in an action. It's talking to me all of the time. It's letting me know what's going on underneath me, exactly what traction I have, and that gives me confidence. Oh, it's just wonderful, these little country roads, and a Caterham is just driving heaven. One more time. So is 125 horsepower enough power to have fun on the road? Yes, it is. You will have terrific open top fun on those British country roads with 125 horsepower. However, just like this car will be receiving its upgrade to the 135 horsepower 270 equivalent specification, which by the way costs less than £250, then that might help somewhat. Or if that's not enough, this same 1.6 litre Ford Sigma block can be taken up to the 152 horsepower specification, cost around £2,000, and that, I am told, is the perfect point for a Caterham on the road. I've yet to drive a 310R, something I hope to be able to do, but for now, what I would say is with 125 horsepower, you will have yourself a wonderful British sports car.